It's Friday here on Good Things, so we've got Tanya, our in-house movie critic, with us to tell us what's on the big screen this weekend. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Good to be back. So I'm so tired and hazy from yesterday. I forgot what even is coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we actually have 2 new releases this weekend, so that's exciting. This has been like amazing. Every weekend we've had some big movie, so this is what a time to be alive.
Especially since the last 2 summers have been kind of boring in terms of movies.
Yeah, but the first one is the one I have not seen yet, and I will see. It's called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, based on a best-selling book. In a series, there's Mrs. Harris has several adventures. She goes to London and other places. But in this book, she's a widowed housemaid, basically, and she falls in love with a Christian Dior couture outfit, whatever dress, and decides that she wants one for her own. And so she scrimps and saves and does all kinds of things to earn the money, and then she goes to Paris to get her dress. So it just looks like a lot of fun, really pretty to watch, all the fashion, all the colors. So I'm excited to check that one out. So if you're out this weekend, that's definitely one to see. But the one that I have seen is Where the Crawdads Sing.
Oh, that's right. Where have I been? My head's been in a crawfish hole.
I think I think I'm one of maybe 5 females in the States
6.
that has not read the book.
So 6. Yeah, I haven't either.
I mean, when I saw it, there were lots of people going to see it. So everybody's super excited because I guess they've read the book. So they knew, that it's a great plot.
Well, I think it's cool that it's a young woman who is potentially the bad guy. Like you don't it's a kind of messes with your head. You don't normally see that in sort of the storyline. It's just not usually how that's gone.
Yeah.
So that throws you for a loop to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. And somebody that you immediately fall in love with, the character. She is a little girl who lives in the marsh in North Carolina, kind of a dangerous place to live. And she's raised in a very abusive home. Her father's abusive. And so her mother leaves, and she's got siblings, and one by one, they each just leave. And so eventually it's just her and her father. And one day he leaves. And so she's just there by herself, a little girl, and she raises herself. And she makes friends with this couple who own a little store. They see her need, and they make sure she gets what she needs. They work out a little deal with her where she goes and she gets mussels from the water every morning and trades them for her necessities. And so the town that she lives outside of, they have called her Marsh Girl, and they have kind of painted her as maybe an evil little girl. Nobody really wants anything to do with her. And as she grows up, she develops a couple of relationships with 2 different guys, one when she's younger, one when she's older, that really shape and form her. And one of them turns up dead, and she's the prime suspect. And so the movie kind of follows 2 timelines: the trial, where she is being accused of murder, and then her actual life, and you get to kind of see how it all plays out. And that was another thing that I really enjoyed about it, is because I hadn't read the book,
you didn't know the ending?
Really didn't know what was coming, and I thought I knew, and I was wrong. And that's always fun, to not guess the ending.
Yeah, I always appreciate that. And I will say, if you have read the book, I watched a great interview with the author. Can't remember her name. But she's an older lady who has a really interesting story of being a nature something or another. Like, she's a scientist. Like, she had this whole career, really cool career. She would go and be in these remote places studying different animals and insects and all these things. And then she just always wanted to write. But she says it's true to the book. So she gives it her 2 thumbs up.
Oh, that's awesome.
That it goes with the book.
Yeah, that's good. Well, the one takeaway for me is, this movie really proves that one little act of kindness can really make a difference in somebody's life. I mean, something that y'all talked about a lot yesterday, And we get to see that play out in this movie. So it's very good. It's a solid 2 hours, PG-13, because there's a little, some violence. But definitely worth the time to go see. And I think any adult is going to like this movie.
I was going to say, is it good for date night? Like,
I
if
think
you
so.
if your spouse is trying to drag you to it, is it worth going?
I think so. It's got the romance element, the mystery element. So I think it's a winner for everybody.
Are those the only 2 new releases?
Yeah, those are the only 2 new ones this weekend. I did want to mention my son and I watched one that's streaming on Disney Plus this week called Rise, and it is the true story. This just blows my mind, but it's based on the true story. Did you know that there are these brothers in the NBA? I mean, to me, okay, if you have one professional athlete come out of a family, that's amazing. But then when you have 2, 3,
the Mannings?
They have 4. Yeah, but it's the true story, and I cannot say their last name. I got my son to tell me 50 times, and I still don't have it. But it's like Antetokounmpo. Something like
Thank you for even trying.
But anyway,
Rhino to the rescue any minute.
Their parents had to flee Nigeria before they were even born because of the political unrest. And anyway, they landed in Greece as illegals, had these boys, and they were a little bit older when they discovered basketball, but they were really good. And before you knew it, they were all being recruited by the NBA. So anyway, you get to see their struggles. They had a lot of struggle. 2 of the older boys, when they first started playing, actually had to share a pair of tennis shoes because they couldn't afford anything else. And so it's just amazing to see where they started and how successful they all are.
Is that based on a true story? Is it like a documentary or is it a movie?
It's actually a movie, and the little guys that play these players are so good. It was very well acted, and my kids knew these players because they keep up with the NBA. I do not. If they're not, Michael Jordan, I really don't know who they are.
But I'm one that even if it's just a good story, I will, if it's because I don't know much about the actual sports, I care about that. I always care about there's always a journey behind excellence in any sport. And so to me, that's always interesting to learn about.
Yeah, well, you'll love this one then, because it's definitely just about overcoming your circumstances.
And you can watch it with your kids.
Yes, you can. It's definitely for the whole family.
So one I hadn't seen, I hadn't seen it. I started it and then I recognized it was going to need my full attention. And then at the time I realized that I wasn't able to give it my full attention. It's The Terminal List on Prime with Chris Pratt.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's a series. I don't think it's necessarily a movie. But man, I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah,
about it.
During the pandemic, it seems like he's done a lot of straight to
Aaron and Meridian.
Video.
As soon as I said it, he said highly recommend on Prime Video, The Terminal.
Terminal List. I'm glad because of course he's been in great stuff, but some of those straight to the streaming outlets haven't been as good, so I'm really excited to hear good things about that.
I feel like it's also getting, I guess it's causing a little bit of its own political commentary, so I think a lot of folks are enjoying the fact that it's very conservative leaning, let's put it that way. So if you like that, then that's probably going to be right up your alley as well. Tim from Tupelo says the Old Men series from Jeff Bridges on Hulu is really good. I can't place what that's about, Jeff, Tim, but I remember hearing that was supposed to be really good as well. And Terminal List is based on books by Jack Carr, a Navy SEAL. So I don't think I realized that as well. And so it feels like there's a lot of good content out there if you want to stream or you want to go to the theater to see.
Yeah, and it's really picking up. It's so funny. I love to hear about Chris Pratt playing these characters because, I was first introduced to him on Parks and Rec, where he was a little bit overweight and just was not the action hero you see today. But of course, he's been awesome from the beginning.
This was done with his Schwarzenegger brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
So
Patrick?
One of them. Yeah, so there's a little bit of, I think he was nervous about this one coming out and actually being a big hit. I mean, it's one thing to make movies with friends, but it's another thing
Yeah.
to miss business and your in-laws. So I'm glad to see he's having a good time. Okay, so we've got date night.
Yep.
And then you've got the other one that you're going to go see, and but it's still out if folks want to go see it. What was the name of it?
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Anything big for next week to look forward to?
Next weekend's a little slower. We've got Nope, which is a kind of horror movie, and it's Jordan Peele, who has mastered the horror genre. And so we've got that next weekend, but that's really it. And then the week after that, we have a new animated DC League of Super Pets.
Well, things to look forward to. All right, stick with us. We got more up.